Big military family, and I represent a district where Naval Aviation, really the heart of East Coast Naval Aviation, is the East Coast Master Jet Base. So it's a little bit disheartening when I read about and think about the future of Naval Aviation, when I hear from the Department of Defense that about $500 million that was appropriated for the Next Generation Strike Fighter in the form of FAXX is to be reallocated to the Air Force. And then when I read
and moving forward, and of course the FAXX timing is a policy decision, so defer to my leadership.
Yesterday we spent some time talking about the importance of the East Coast. I understand the importance of the West Coast very much in this potential China fight that we are all thinking of every day. But it can't be understated, the value of what the East Coast brings in our battle groups and our carrier strike groups that deploy, the people that live in my district.
We gather today to discuss a matter of strategic urgency, the future of naval aviation, the allocation of defense resources, and the role of women in peace and security initiatives. These topics are not theoretical. They have real-world impacts on military readiness, national defense, and America's leadership role on the global stage.
I have the privilege and honor of representing a district that has a huge Navy presence, so I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about naval aviation. Although I am the daughter of a Green Beret who served in Vietnam, I had the privilege of serving for 10 years as a helicopter pilot. I'm married to a 20-year veteran who flew F-18s. I'm now a proud mom of a naval aviator and a son who graduated from VMI about 3 weeks ago. So big military family, and I represent a district where Naval Aviation, really the heart of East Coast Naval Aviation, is the East Coast Master Jet Base. Yesterday we spent some time talking about the importance of the East Coast. I understand the importance of the West Coast very much in this potential China fight that we are all thinking of every day. But it can't be understated, the value of what the East Coast brings in our battle groups and our carrier strike groups that deploy, the people that live in my district. So it's a little bit disheartening when I read about and think about the future of naval aviation, when I hear from the Department of Defense that about $500 million that was appropriated for the Next Generation Strike Fighter in the form of FAXX is to be reallocated to the Air Force. And then when I read memos from this committee is unaware of any changes to the Navy's requirements justifying the procurement of FAXX and continues to support efforts to award the FAXX development and design contract to the Navy. So we're trying to piece together, and I asked the same question yesterday, and I echo the comments of my colleague from Virginia, Congressman Whitman, but that piece is very important. Right now, I house very aging F-18 squadrons. There's no prioritizing, no commitment from the Navy to give me even F-35 squadrons. I have 4 F-35 squadrons that the Marine Corps has on the East Coast. But you all know better than anybody that putting all your eggs in one basket is one of the worst strategies. I've got the West Coast, Naval Air Station Lemoore, West Coast Master Jet Base. Looks great. We've been out there to visit just to compare. They're slated to have, I believe, 8 F-35 squadrons, and there's even an F-35 Center for Development that they want, or Center for Excellence that they want to put there, with no mention of the East Coast Master Jet Base. So I just want to hear from you all. I'll start with you, Secretary Hegseth, but could you explain a little bit about your comments, why that is, and what your plans are to be supportive of our East Coast Master Jet Base so that is equally, if not more important?
I think it's a fair point. I do think it's equally important. On the FAXX, we are reviewing it, no doubt. It's fair to say. The budget does provide for a completion of the design. As I've stated, the F-47, the EDGAD program is the priority in this budget to get that moving. So we are invested in 6th Gen, and we do recognize the Navy's unique power projection capabilities. The F-35 factors into that also, and so we're looking at its development in the future, and we'll take into consideration those options and certainly make sure as we're planning it's considered.
That base needs it, and General Kane, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. To quote you, you said, we need a capability that is mobile. There's nothing more mobile than a United States aircraft carrier, and when I turn on the television, we want to talk about dropping bombs on Houthis in Yemen. Who do they show? They always show my husband taking off F-18s, and I get very jealous. I know there's a helicopter over there in Starboard D just waiting for something to happen, but that's who they show. It's naval aviation.
Ready to fish somebody out of the water. Ma'am, thanks for the question. Thanks for your service. Thanks for your husband's service, and congratulations to your son. That's a big deal. obviously the Navy's working all those issues, East Coast, West Coast power, but, as a global integrator, having 5th gen on the West Coast that can go in those carrier air groups and get out there and provide deterrence and/or capabilities is key. Echo the Secretary's comments. I'll get with the Navy and take a look at their force rail in terms of 5th gen and moving forward. And of course, the FAXX timing is a policy decision, so defer to my leadership.
Thank you. Well, I know that you all are aware of our work we did from this last Congress with the quality of life initiatives and for the infrastructure needs at our bases, but that base is hurting. And again, that is our East Coast Master Jet Base. And we all know money follows the new toys sometimes. So please think of that and please prioritize, at least give us a commitment that is coming our way. And in closing, I just want to talk about, I'm the co-chair of Women, Peace and Security Caucus, which we have here. We've had here, this was a 2017 Trump bill that was signed into law, co-sponsored then by Senator Marco Rubio, strongly championed by Ivanka Trump. It's designed to improve military readiness, strengthen our allies, promote lasting stability through the inclusion of women in peace and security efforts. Just please be mindful of that. It's a cheap $3 million in fiscal year 24, but having been in a lot of meetings with a lot of our allied partners, it's a cheap form of just maintaining those relationships. And
while I fully recognize the importance of strengthening our posture in the Indo-Pacific in light of rising tensions with China, I must emphasize that neglecting the East Coast's critical aviation infrastructure is not an option. The success of our carrier strike groups depends equally on both coasts. I have real concerns that current budget decisions, including the proposed reallocation of funds from the Navy's Next Generation Strike Fighter F/AXX program, may compromise not only regional balance, but national readiness itself. Equally important is how we support the full range of talent within our ranks. The Women, Peace, and Security Act, signed into law on 27th with strong bipartisan support, was not merely symbolic, it was a strategic investment in strengthening our alliances, improving operational effectiveness, and demonstrating American leadership. As someone who joined the Navy in 1993, the very first year women were authorized to fly in combat, I can personally attest to the importance of inclusion, representation, and opportunity.
And really giving a role to the roles that women want to play. I mean, it's an important role for us. I will say this, I will say that we are watching, women are watching, and as a person who was commissioned in 1993, which was the first year that women could fly in combat, it was an important piece in my decision to serve. So I just would love to hear your thoughts about the future of women, peace, and security.
Ma'am, my issue is not what women, peace, and security was, it's what it became under the Biden administration. So our review showed that what it became, which is far more ideologically focused, was not what it should be. And so our decision there was driven by removing that aspect.
I don't disagree and happy to be a part of the solution to fix that. And my time has expired. And